What cinema camera is going to be the foundation for this next phase for us? And go.
I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. It's probably going to be the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema K6 Pro. Probably.
So I have a couple ideas on this front.
Because it's affordable. And also because I don't want to spend money on cameras anymore. I want to spend money on lenses.
There it is.
But and the basis of why we need a new camera is not because the R is not a good camera. The R is a great camera. The R is difficult to. We can export 10K footage or 10-bit footage. I'm sorry. We can export 10-bit footage, which is what everybody wants as to purchase, right? That's what studios want. That's what colorists want. That's what editors want. That's what major motion picture, whatever streaming services want as a film.
And we can get C-Log.
Yeah.
But we don't have C-Log 2 or C-Log 3.
Right. Which is, and even that, not that big of a deal. It just, it takes so much other gear to make it happen. So right now, when we do it, we use the Atomos V, and we can shoot in C-Log, which isn't the flattest of all profiles, but it works. It's nice.
It hasn't. I've enjoyed grading it and editing it, and it's pliable. Like it gives.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's better stuff out there. You just, if you're careful about your vision with everything before, you'll be fine. But what we need to be able to do now is we need to have an easier pathway to give people 10K footage in C-Log 2 or C-Log 3.
10-bit.
Yeah,
right.
10-bit footage. I mean, it would be great to be able to shoot in 12-bit footage. Honestly, I don't think we can afford the storage right now for 12-bit footage.
And that's, I mean, but once we jump over to even, the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema Camera 4K, I mean, RAW is, it's 12-bit. Like it's there.
Yeah.
But it's a lot of storage space.
Yeah.
And storage gets expensive when you have that much.
And there's a lot of sacrifices that I don't like about it, but and really it just comes down to what we need is a better tool to get this to get the kind of footage that is sellable out. And that so that's because honestly sometimes I shoot on our R, and I think I could shoot on this like forever in 8-bit and be fine. But
It's
been
pretty great.
You have to advance. Like you have to keep going. I really love the full frame look, and it's a full frame camera. But I can't like if I want to sell really high quality footage, nobody's gonna buy it in 8-bit. You know what I mean? And they're just immediately gonna see the file size and say no. So we needed an easier pathway to get there. So I considered very heavily the C500 Mark II. It's just, and that's a camera that we would live on the back of for a long, long time.
It could be a workhorse.
Like that's probably a camera we would likely never get rid of. I don't see that camera going out of style for another 15 years, just because you can export 10-bit, it's full frame, it's
It has all the things.
a year and a half ago, it was the best you could get on the bottom end of the cinema camera, and it's still today is pretty dang good.
It's great, yeah.
It's just maybe on the used market, but it's hard to find. It's still just slightly out of that price range, unless we start landing bigger projects, right? Then that's probably the way I would want to go.
And that's one of the benefits of us having a studio is, I mean, there are zero big projects coming here to shoot.
Right.
Because there's no reason.
Right.
But if we can start to produce out here, if we have studio space, if we have crew, and we can show it, and there's gear that they can rent here, then it starts to become,
then it's
I can
viable.
get out of the city, it's affordable, all the things are there. It probably costs less than shooting even in Phoenix.
Yeah.
Come on out.
Because there's, I recently priced out gear from a Phoenix rental house, and it was not cheap. Like,
Well, yeah, it's a business, right?
yeah, and I was looking at it. It was I wanted to rent a C500 for 3 days with a set of K-mount cannons, right? This is all very high end stuff, right? And I was just playing, I was just uh, playing Dream Day, right? It was $3,500
For how many days?
for 3 days for that gear, and
Okay.
I still had to drive out and get it, and it didn't come with any of the accessories, right? Like I was gonna just use my own.
And that's pretty
Yeah,
consistent with what you're going to see.
and
Yeah.
and I looked at that and thought I could buy one of those lenses for that much money, use it
Mm-hmm.
for a really long time. So that would be the goal is to be able to have that kind of stuff, bring it here and say, hey, look, come to your production here. We can provide you with this camera,
We
this
got a full
camera.
set of
Yeah,
this series lens. We've got, yeah.
you know. So, but I definitely think that we do need to get to the point where we can make this footage, where we can export this higher bit footage a little bit faster. And to do that, Blackmagic's probably the way to go right now.
I think the next step from where we're at is probably like the 6K Pro.
Mm-hmm.
Like a step above that, and I'm not sure how I feel about this. I really don't know how I feel about this. Might be like a couple Komodos.
Yeah.
I don't know how I feel about it. But what it does do is it gets you the red codec,
Mm-hmm.
like their color science,
Which is highly desirable.
A lot of people like it. I mean, not everyone does, right? Yeah, but but you can get the red raw.
Mm-hmm.
It's a global shutter.
Yeah.
And it's much. I mean, and it's gonna fit all our lenses.
Mm-hmm.
So like, there's a lot of pros for that.
Yeah.
I was. So I've been doing a deep dive into this lately, looking at the C70 versus the Komodo because they're a similar price range. They have the similar amount, right? Like it's, and the people who are criticizing the Komodo are people who really just want to shoot mirrorless. Like they don't want to have to like they don't want a cinema camera.
Yeah.
That's not what they want. Well, if we have a studio space,
yeah, we need it.
Well, yeah, we can totally have a cinema camera,
Right.
and like we have all the back end that we can run the whole thing. I mean, yeah, I I I think we take one of two strategies. We get one, maybe two of the 6Ks,
Yeah.
and we start building out our lens. Which, I mean, it's going to be an EF set of lens,
Yeah.
like Canon glass, because that just works with all the things that we do.
Right.
Or we start buying the lenses and we eventually get the mount that we want, or get the body that we want.
Mm-hmm. Which is kind of the way I'm leaning, because I really don't want to spend more money on a camera body. I don't care. I want to start getting good lenses. Like I want a full set of Zines. Now, are those the best lenses? No, but I've shot with them a couple of times now. They're really good, like noticeably better than other things I've worked with, right? Now, obviously, like the step up after that would be I don't even know what's in between there. PLs?
Well, I mean, that's just the mount, right? But the
Zeiss probably.
Once you jump up, well, I mean, there's some other cameras starting to hit the same price range as the Zine.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, at that point, people really have to know what they're talking about to look at that lens and say,
yeah,
there's something better.
Yeah.
Because it's a legit cinema lens.
Yeah.
They've just came out with the new series, so they're 1700 or they're like 2500
right.
if you get the carbon fiber or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But they're big fat cinema lenses.
And you can get them in a PL mount now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, people are taking notice of it. I was watching a review the other day with Shane Hurlbutt from Hurlbutt Academy. He's a DP out of Hollywood, and he was comparing it to what was he, the Canon cinema line and
the K
something
line or
else.
whatever. The K35s.
He was comparing it to the others, and he's talking about a little colors a little bit off, but other than that, like it holds up, and it's a fraction of the price.
Yeah.
Like they're good lenses.
Yeah. I mean, I do want to shoot through some Canon K35s before I die. Because it's the basis of all the cool movies that I
In the
loved
end,
growing up.
we'll eventually get some a series of anamorphic lenses, and
we'll
get up to where we'll have our $20,000 lenses and things like we'll get there.
Yeah.
We'll get there, and then we'll have a couple Alexas or whatever. But right now, I think the step is probably 1, maybe 2 of the 6K Pros. We build out an EF.
We build out an EF lineup,
which is 4,
getting
5,
more,
6 lenses.
Now that the RF line of lenses is becoming more popular, EFs are getting more affordable, and they're not yet in that range where they're like the FDs, where they're just legendary and everybody wants to pay a bunch of money for them. They're still expensive, but you can get good quality glass, and we already have a pretty good lined out set of EF. I'd like to start getting some really solid primes. That's where I'd like to build the kit out from there.
Yeah.
And then I would really like to move on to some legit cinema glass through Zine, most likely, because everything else is just out of the price range. But I don't know. It's just. But bottom line is, we need a camera that is affordable right now. That is travelable. Travelable? Is that a verb?
Transferable? I don't
know.
We
need a camera that can get us to that 10-bit footage or 12-bit footage faster, make it easier for us to do. Even if it doesn't necessarily give me the look that I really want, it's the output that I need to make more streamlined, that we need to make more streamlined, so that we can be an easier crew of people to hire, so that we're. Does that make sense?
Yeah. It's all about workflow at this point.
Yeah.